Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for joining our class, Enlightenment through Meditation. Um, I understand we changed the time today a little bit from 5:30 to 6 o'clock, and thank you very much for joining. And our today's class is going to be a follow-up on what we discussed last time. As you know that we were talking about when you start walking on the path of truth, there are going to be rewards, different kinds of rewards. We look for rewards. We want to know if we should go, we should have desires, we should become desireless, we should take the rewards, we should not take the rewards, or however that come. And we discussed all this in our previous sessions. So it goes back to the rewards as well as when we are making the progress on the path of truth, there is some development that happens or need to happen for that matter within us. And today we will concentrate on that part to monitor our own progress, because we really are not here to judge anyone. We are here to judge ourselves, because our heart wants to grow, our soul wants to grow, we want to get a higher level of awareness, and it's all about us. So we change our fingers from that way to this way and see really what are we doing and where is our progress. So one of the things that develop on our own path of following truth is compassion. So, what is compassion? And do we have compassion, or if we were not following the path, were we not compassionate? I guess that is really not our concern. We are going to be progressive, and as we all know, that when you know more, you know there is more to know. And then when you know that more, you understand there is more to know. So there is always more and more and more, and that's why it's called beyond, right? You go to a forest looks so big, and you go deeper into it, now you're completely lost because you have no clue where I am. So, what is compassion? How does it come into being? When we start realizing it, and how it falls into our path or our journey of finding the truth, and how it relates to the reward, let's discuss all that. So, compassion, if I may draw a little bit over here, and you could see, it could be different levels. Somebody might have 10% compassion in them. Somebody may have 20, and somebody may have 80%. How do you know? We are all walking on everything, and we are going, you know what, this is our right to walk on the grass, it's our right to breathe the air, and it's all okay because it's all there for us. There are many ways of looking at life, and it's all for us. But somebody may be so aware and say, you know what, this grass also has life. It grows. If you pluck it, it doesn't have life anymore, it dies. Color changes and everything. And you go, my goodness, I'm walking on this grass, my heart breaks because I'm crushing it. I mean, it's a level of awareness. You can't do anything, and it's not right. You tell them, is it right or is it wrong? They go, that's how I feel, and that's perfect. And then we are at some places, we are doing things that we totally do it, and we don't even feel that we did something, anything bad. We pluck the flower for my hair. It looks pretty good, and that's all I see. I don't see I'm plucking. It was getting nourishment, and the pretty flower now is, if it would have been on that shoot, it could have lasted for 1 week. I broke it to beautify me, and now it's gonna die in 1 week. But who cares? Roses is for me. That's also a level of compassion. So is it? No, it's not necessarily a question of judging someone, because as I said, we are not doing this, we are doing this. So now we are gonna start seeing how it matters. And this brings a really good point, that compassion. Um, I write a lot, and there was something I had written. a few days ago actually, that the whole nature is running in compassion, and you see how much cooperation they have. Why? Because the tree gives shade, and then under that shade some other plants can grow much better. Cooperation. The air gives automatically to the tree is growing. It's giving oxygen, we are living. It gives carbon dioxide. Everything is running in compassion. So it's a lot of cooperation and compassion. And we human beings are very different. We may have compassion, may not have compassion. So I had written about the cooperation, and one of the ideas was that in nature everything is also in competition, which is very true. You know, the bigger tree will come and eat up the little tree, is gone, or a small bush is, it's gonna take over. So it's competition. The bigger animal will eat the smaller animal. But here is a very fine difference. When the nature does it, there is no malignness in nature. So if the tree is big, for example, it's going to take over the small tree. It doesn't care if it's a mango, I shouldn't take it. If it's a, other bush, I shouldn't. It will just take it because that's its character. So if you take a dog, for example, dog is going to eat a cat, or it is going to eat a rat, or whatever it eats, you know, a stray dog. Now the dog is not gonna say this rat is comes from China. I'm not gonna eat this rat. Comes from here. I'm gonna eat this. Looks tastier, so I'm gonna eat this. Doesn't. It's no difference. Uh, 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 a dog going in a Mercedes car or going in a junk truck, you know, it just sits on the window, gets its mouth out and looking, right? It doesn't matter to it where it is sitting. But the difference in a human being is, as soon as we are on an elevated thing, because reputation is attached to us, we feel like, you know what, we are better. Somehow, not everyone, but we do. And that also goes with the compassion. Somebody might walk in and say, you know what, I am coming like this, I am like this, I am not going to help this person because I just cannot do it. There is someone who goes, you know, stop the car, I'm going to go help these person. That's their level of compassion. Once again, this is just a discussion for us to see where we stand. But when you look at the animals, they are indifferent. It doesn't matter. They are black or white dog, they will be sitting together, doesn't matter. They are big, small, doesn't matter. Lion is going to eat the sheep. What kind of sheep, doesn't matter. So although there is competition, but it's benign competition. But with the humans, if you look, we all know where we stand. We don't need to be told. At the deepest level of our heart, what we want to show to someone, how we want to show someone, how much twisting we can do, we all know. We all know. And I always say, I am doing this class doesn't necessarily separate me. I could be the first one in line, and that's totally fine. But that is how the level of compassion, cooperation, and nature, when we start looking into the nature, it is already telling us a lot. Why it is like that? Because whoever is within us, we are said to be made up of five elements. If you take a plant, it is made up of only two elements, earth and water. That's all. But those two elements of that conscious entity do exist there. So if our level of compassion was high and we were more aware, then we will worry about that. And we know that whatever we do, there is a law of give and take, action and reaction. And then our awareness goes higher, that, you know, I am doing this, maybe I shouldn't be. So, however I can cooperate, we ask for our own increase in strength, increase in power, and increase in compassion, so we can handle it all. Our heart comes up, because in compassion, what happens, you start feeling. So when there is compassion and when there is a feeling, what comes next? Kindness. So let's say we are driving on the freeway and you saw an accident, and then our heart is going, you know what, I cannot pass, because there is a feeling, a compassion. You felt like I'm related. right? That is the difference. One is passing, and not necessarily maybe they are rushing or pushing for the time. Again, we are not being judgmental. We are just saying where we are. So when we look at that, we said we cannot pass. If there was a job we were going for, we are going to say no. This is more important because the divine, the conscious, I am related, although this is a different body. So we stop the car, we go. So that action of helping is what kindness, inside us, kindness came. Kindness is considered a virtue. So that means what is our progress becoming? We are going towards attaining more virtues automatically. By what did we do? Basically, we started to follow ourselves. That's the only thing we did. We didn't, we were not driving and said, hey, how come these people are not stopping their cars and helping that guy? You know, that's not what we did. What we did instead, we said, no, I should do it because my compassion is coming up. I feel that I need to go. And I put even my job or whatever it was as a second priority. Now the law of divine comes into play. Without expectation, without forlooking anything, in compassion came kindness, turned into a help with no expected returns. Suddenly, the divine, the whole divine is on our side. Why? Because there is no expectation involved. Expectation comes from mind. At this point, our heart is high up, our mind is down. What heart? Biological heart? No. The consciousness, the heart of consciousness, like what we feel, we felt. So that becomes compassionate behavior, that's coming up, that's leading to kindness, and from kindness, all our helping attitudes start. So if we are following the path of enlightenment, in meditation, all these things are becoming the beauty spots in within you, because one day they will become bigger and bigger and bigger and so big that suddenly the level becomes so high that everything starts to manifest itself, because the enlightenment or the path of enlightenment is not something that we can acquire. We just need to do one by one by one by one, and the result automatically comes. You might find that something happened to you that you never expected. Now, if your awareness is high and you can see it, you would realize that, oh my God, yeah, divine is there. You will start to feel that nature, that universe, that collection, that relationship to everyone, that you would not see anything which is not you or me. It becomes all one. Everything is one, moving around in different shapes and forms. So that leads to health. Now, since we have been talking about the rewards versus no reward, now this becomes a little bit tricky part, and why it is like that. So if we started to sit down and we said, you know what, I did this good and I did this good, I did that good, out of so many things, now I think something good should happen to me because I am doing so good. I'm trying to follow the path of truth. I am doing this. How come or how come not this is happening? So at that point, we know all. We have to always use the mind. Mind has been given to us. And whatever has been given to us obviously has to have a use for us, right? So, therefore, when we start evaluating and using the mind more, we are going towards expectation. Because if mind is here, heart is above it, because consciousness. If there was no consciousness, we won't be alive. If we are not alive, there is no mind to work with, right? So the mind is secondary to the soul or the consciousness. Consciousness drives, and when consciousness drives, if you look at nature again, sun is giving, air is giving, water is giving, earth is there, and look at earth. It is, we are walking all over it, crushing it, spitting it, doing all sorts of things. Also we are growing trees on it. I mean, we are doing a lot of things, but there is no retaliation from earth. there is nothing. Water, ocean, whatever we do, and we put lots of oil into the ocean, but it is not saying quiet, calm, because it's in stillness. So when we are conscious, we are still. And there was another writing I was doing, that we are always using our minds to make the judgment. And minds are always moving. For example, you sat down to listen to this class, for example, and you sat at a certain point, right, position. But mind is there. So you are also absorbing, you are judging, you are checking. All those are natural phenomena that are happening. Without asking, they are coming. But if we sit down to only listen and say, I'm going to pick the things that apply to me and utilize it, that's it. Then we don't care about anything else. Or we can say, you know what, this is not right, this I like, this I don't like. But in that, what happens? We made our mind to be more active. That active mind leads to analysis. In analysis, there is plus and there is minus. You got so involved in evaluating plus and minus, the beauty, the message got totally missed. And the intent is not that. The intent is to catch the real material from the top, right? So, for example, if you take the milk, milk has cream inside it, but you cannot see the cream. So what happens? You take the milk, first you have to boil it, then you need to make yogurt, then you need to churn it, then you need to put water, your temperature has to be right, and then the cream will come out. And then if you need to go further to make oil, you need to put it on heat, and then it will separate, and from this much milk, only this much will come out. So when we are doing session after session after session, because the exploration is so much. Compassion can be talked for hours and hours and hours, day in, day out, and we cannot finish it. Why? Because this comes from the heart, from the truth. There is no end to truth. You can talk and talk and talk. It's beyond and beyond and beyond. So we will never be able to finish. Can you say that my compassion, somebody that you may like or I may like or somebody may like, they will say, I feel for it, I can't express. It's so much, I don't know how to express. And we do a lot of material things. We say, okay, look, take this, I want to give you this, and then we feel, no, we didn't do enough. Level of awareness. The day that level of awareness changes from us doing it to only those people we are attached, to those people we are totally unattached, now our level of awareness is getting higher and higher, because we are seeing the universal love, the unity of mankind. And we all know that there are a lot of people who have done very kind things in this universe. They came, they helped, they supported. We read them and we think that we are here, they are here, and they were made for that. They did it and they left, and we can write, they said this, and that's good enough. But if we truly look at it and realize they were made of five elements, we are made up of five elements. They had consciousness in them, we have consciousness in us. They had mind in them, we have mind in them. You know, if they are married or not married, that is the same thing. Some of us are married, some are not. They have children, some of us have children, some of not. They went to school, we went to school. So really there is not much difference. Whatever they have, we also have. But maybe we need to look into what that they did that maybe we are not doing. Again, going back to, we are not looking at them, we are looking at us. So we are going to evaluate us and say, what were the things that they had that we cannot cultivate, and why? And our journey into all these virtues will start. Because if they could love, we can love. We know that we love our children, we love our pet, we love our property. We know what love is. It's not that we don't know. But we cannot quite apply to universal love yet. Why I use the word yet? Because our awareness is still growing. When it is growing, when we are going to pay attention to it. If we don't pay attention to it, what will happen? It may stay same, or it may go even down. It depends on what kind of company we are. You know, we all know in this world everything is happening. And we are not here to look and say this is right, this is wrong. The only thing we are concentrating on is us. Because if we change, what will happen? Our actions will change, right? So if our actions change, we probably will make some other people very happy. Because when you do something with compassion, and we do with love, and you do without asking, and we think we cannot penetrate, we penetrate the heart like an arrow piercing. It just happens. And the receiving party receives it. Sometimes, if somebody is disappointed or something, you go and give them a hand and lift them and just love them. And after they come back to normal, you just leave them without telling them that who were you. The rest of the life they think, who was that person, fairy or angel or whatever, who came into my life, and that becomes a story. I think we all know about Mahatma Buddha, Gautam Buddha, that he saw the three things that changed his life forever. He turned into king, from a king to a saint and a master. So if those events hadn't happened, that would not have changed. And if you look at his material or physical self after he turned into complete awareness, very simple. But we all remember Lord Buddha, but we don't remember too many kings. There are hundreds and thousands of kings, but we don't remember. We remember Buddha. Why do we remember him? Because of his actions, because of his enlightenment, and because what he told us to do. And the other thing, he never said you cannot become. Always these enlightened souls, they say, go do it. They teach the path. By their sayings, they don't mean read it and maybe attach it on your Facebook, on your website, and on this, that we say that we are very good, because it also leads into that path. We are talking about the pride, we are talking about the ego. You can take anything into any part, but when they write it, when they say it, because they experienced, once they experienced, they want to tell the whole world how blissful, how peaceful, how much happy they get. And they want at that point everyone to become that happy. Why? Because each person has a complete system within themselves. If they are alive, they have the consciousness which is complete in itself. They don't need to go. One thing about Creator did really good that I really enjoy, here if we have father and four kids, he can only spend so much time, and one child can get jealous, one may not get jealous, but whatever. But with this Creator, if you look, very poor person has the same consciousness. He laughs the same way, he cries the same way, he breathes the same way, his features are the same, but he does not differentiate. He says, if you want to find me, then go within. You don't need any appointment. I'm always available to you. If you don't have a car, it doesn't matter, because I'm not closed anywhere. If you see me in the air, I'm in the air. If you see me in the water, I'm in the water. If you see me within you, I'm within you. But as I'm mentioning, that when we start following the path of truth, this awareness comes. This awareness, unending, non-ending, more and more and more and more. And once you get to a certain point, you start feeling, I need to speak loudest, because I want these people to realize the truth, to realize the happiness. I'm really thankful to all the listeners and the people who have come here. But at the same time, you realize in our lives, things do happen. And there is not always happiness, there is not always sadness. It's all transitory, but it is happening. And sometimes we get nervous, sometimes we get angry, sometimes because we get attached to it. But realize one day we have to leave. We all have to leave. Physical body, dust thou art. It is going to the dirt again. We know that, but we still get attached. With the level of awareness, we get out of that. The level of awareness comes from these virtuous properties: compassion, which leads to kindness, which leads to help, reward or no reward. However we do it, if we do with no reward, we are following the truth, level of awareness goes high. If we look for the reward, boom, we fall down again. Because if we were aware, we wouldn't expecting it, right? So if we fall down, is it bad? There is nothing bad. So we fell, a child when they are learning to walk, they fall 100 times. Is it bad? No. They get up and walk again. So what happens to us when we see, oh, okay, we are listening, we are enjoying, we are going within, we are trying to find, we are truly sincere, we are truly devoted, we are truly dedicated. To who? To us, not to anybody else. Because it's not path for anybody else. We don't need to justify. Because think about it. If you made a position, or I made a position, and somebody told me, man, you are really good, other than it inflated my ego and brought me down on the path of truth, actually it doesn't make any difference to me, because deep down only I know how honest, how good, what I am, only I know. So there, if I did good things, if I'm wearing these clothes, I look like, okay, she probably likes yellow. Maybe I just wore it because I wanted it today. That doesn't really mean that I am attached to the yellow color. I just wore it. Same thing with our feelings, our expressions. Our minds are so sharp, they know what we need to do, and therefore we need to stay. Compassion is not the game of mind, because mind would immediately evaluate. If you see a situation and you take it, use it as an example for yourself, and I do it all the time, and we together try it, and see within yourself that if a situation comes and you don't want to be a part of it, you see how your mind goes, how like electricity, so fast it would tell you how to get out of it. If there is compassion, you're going to say, no, I'm going to jump into it, I don't care. And that comes when the level of confidence increases, by the level of awareness that comes, by the level of compassion that comes, by the sincerity, by the devotion, and by the dedication within us. So these are the most important things that come into play about when we are looking for our first thing, interest into the truth, finding the truth, realizing for ourselves that this is the way. This is the way. Why it is the way? Because otherwise this journey is too long. It is very long. And if we are busy always doing other things, then this journey we may never be able to find the real truth that is so much full of happiness. And at the end of the life, we go, I never found happiness for me. Because happiness comes with love. We all know when we start loving, when we are becoming compassionate, when we give something. I'm sure all of you have some stories to tell that when you gave something to someone, how good you felt. Because giving is a character of consciousness. Everything around us is giving. If it was not giving, we couldn't survive. So when we follow the same character, we feel good. What does that good mean? If I buy a very nice refrigerator or a car, I feel good. But after a while, if we all notice little by little, that car we wash, get it washed every day, maybe in the beginning. It's already new, doesn't need to be washed, but we wash it. But after a while, our attachment goes away from it because we have seen a different car and now we like that one more. So now we want to get rid of, we find 100 reasons why we should really get rid of it. Is that happiness? Not really. It could be attachment leading to an enjoyment, which is a temporary nature, right? So rather than having the enjoyment, we want to move from enjoyment to happiness. And to get the happiness is that happiness which is unchangeable permanence forever. You can ever think of that event and it makes you happy. You go, man, I did so good in my life one time, but that one time I just love it. That becomes the compassion, that becomes true love, and that true love gives happiness. And don't we all want to be happy? We all want to be happy. We say it, we don't say it, we are crying, we are laughing. Sometimes we go to the parties and we are laughing. When we come home, we are so alone. And we go, what happened? Sometimes if you, it's so funny, but sometimes you read the comments on the Facebook with your friends and the news feed, you will find comments like this: I am alone, what I'm supposed to do? Hey, is somebody's having a party? Can I join? I mean, you will be surprised. So that means it does exist. That's all. It's not right or wrong again. It's just somebody writing whatever they felt at that time. But what my point is that, yeah, it does exist. We read it. I have read it personally. So why they are lonely? Because inside the love, the happiness, that they haven't felt it yet. There has not been a connection within ourselves. And I am sure if we read the literature and scriptures and all that, we will find that everyone says, find happiness within. The treasure of happiness is within. And what is the key to explore that? One of those keys is compassion, which will lead to kindness. Kindness would lead to help without any rewards. Bring up the truth in our lives, will bring up the compassion, will bring up kindness, and this cycle will go on and on and on and on to lead us to the happiness we are looking for. So, with that, I would like to thank you for watching today. And if you have any questions, you can write us. You can come to our Facebook and write us. You can come to our website, which is drkors.com. You can write there on our Facebook page. It is www.facebook.com/Dr. Kors. You can come to our YouTube channel, Dr. Kors channel, and you can write your questions. You can email us, drkors@gmail.com. There are many avenues, but I hope that you take whatever is useful for you, apply it, and enjoy the happiness that comes with it. Because I love you all and I would like for you to be happy. And don't forget that happiness is not too far. Thank you so much. I would love those fingers. I love those feet who have taken the time. I love those ears too, who took the time to listen, and those eyes who watched. So thank you all around, and we will see you next week. Bye bye.